So about a month and a half ago, I made a video that got me mobbed by thousands of people on the internet. It was the worst cancellation that I have experienced thus far in this journey. And the video was all about how I do not believe that we should be calling critical race theory anti-white. First off, because it is a completely oversimplified look at what critical race theory is. Secondly, because it actually makes us look like the bad guys. Thirdly, because we are aligning ourselves with very, very, very bad people. Angry people. People that are actually dangerous when we embrace the anti-white language, because that language is coming from somewhere. It's coming from people supporting movements around white well-being, white positivity, white survival. Does that sound like something you want to be a part of? It's not something I want to be a part of. And so I made a video saying that we really need to stop calling critical race theory anti-white. And in thanks for that, I was mobbed by thousands of people who went out of their way to not only destroy my YouTube channel, which they actually did a pretty good job of, but thankfully I actually make most of my revenue from locals anyway, so it didn't actually impact me in the way that they probably thought it did. But they went out of their way to destroy my YouTube channel. They followed me around to every live stream that I was doing on other people's channels, tried to destroy their channel. They attacked James Lindsay for coming out and saying Carlin kind of has a point. They attacked Chris Rufo, and this was actually particularly funny for me because I had so many people that were saying, Carlin, have you talked to James Lindsay and Chris Rufo and gotten their sign-off on your position, as though I need to ask either their permission to have a position on something? But the two of them got attacked. James Lindsay got attacked for basically saying she's not wrong about the white supremacists. Chris Rufo got attacked because Chris Rufo is not married to a white person. Chris Rufo's wife is Asian. And so the same people that were attacking and mobbing me actually ended up attacking and mobbing Chris Rufo as well. He's a champion though. And of course he was able to wash all this water off a duck's back for him, and he just kept going. But the reason I bring this up is because I'm not wrong about this. I'm sorry. I'm not wrong. I am not wrong, and I do not retract anything that I said. I do not care how many YouTubers who don't know how to define critical race theory without looking it up in an encyclopedia. I don't care how many of those people make videos reacting to me saying, hey, you know what you're talking about. I don't care. I don't care. Because I'm not wrong on this. Critical race theory is not about race. It is only about power. It is about a larger ecosystem of ideas that are purely meant to gain as much power as possible and are meant to destabilize the system. And I happen to see this really bad Venn diagram today that illustrates this point beautifully. For as bad as this Venn diagram is, and it's really bad, we're not going to evaluate this Venn diagram on being an accurate Venn diagram because it isn't. But it just wrapped up this idea nicely in a nice little bow. You know, when I say critical race theory, I'm not necessarily just talking about the theory that's taught in law schools, that originated in law schools in the 1970s. I'm not talking about that. I'm using it to refer to a wider set of ideas. You might call this, wokeism, whatever. You might call this far left progressive ideology, whatever it happens to be. I'm using it to refer to a broader set of ideas that are all around power and control and destabilizing the system. And what do we have at the very center of this Venn diagram that touches everything? Look at the different attributes that the woke have in this diagram. Racism, white supremacy, hierarchy, individual over the community, environmentalism, man destroys nature, settlers, colonialism, misogyny, imperialism, patriarchy. What is at the center of this whole thing? Capitalism. Capitalism. That's their target. White people are not their target. Capitalism is their target. And what they're doing is they're using race as the primary tool that they have in order to destabilize the system, because race is the thing that gets people fired up and riled up more than any other thing. And if it wasn't race, it would be something else. If they weren't focusing on the race of someone, they would focus on something else, whether it be the environment or their gender or their nation of origin or what have you. It doesn't matter, because the ultimate target is capitalism. And we've got to start getting much smarter about how we're fighting this, guys. We do. I mean, congratulations to everyone on the right that effectively took out me and my YouTube channel. What you did is you actually took out someone on your team. You took out someone who has actually been very effective in fighting back. And now you basically cut my legs out from under me, man. We'll see if the channel comes back. We'll see if it doesn't. I hope it does. I'm still going to be posting in my locals community regardless, but if I have to move everything to locals or to alternate channels in order to actually find people that are willing to step up and do what it takes to fight back instead of actually skewering people on your own side, then so be it. That's what I'll do. It just amazes me. It really does. Like, I have been probably in the past 6 weeks more depressed about the fact that it just seems to me that there are not enough people that are serious about fighting back against this. There aren't even enough people that are serious about understanding what the problem is and what these people are trying to go after. They're not trying to fix racism. They're trying to use racism to exacerbate problems that already exist so that they can destabilize the system, so that they can pull out the threads one by one, by one, until they get here. Capitalism. This is why they say that capitalism, individualism, hard work, meritocracy are tools of white supremacy. This is why in the book Defense of Looting that came out last summer, they're basically saying that looting and rioting are acceptable because they are forms of reparations, and property rights are white supremacy anyway. Property rights. They're going after property rights. They're going after the whole idea, the whole notion that individuals have a right to private property. Why would they do that if they didn't want the state to control the means of production? None of this is about race. And the sooner that we start treating it as a problem that is much bigger than the color of your skin is the minute that we actually start becoming more effective at fighting back against it. And I know that by putting this video up, it is entirely possible that I will be bullied and mobbed again by thousands of people, though I think I've done a pretty good job of blocking most people on the channel now that I think would be riling up and causing problems. But I know full well that's a possibility, and I just don't care because you guys have already done your worst to me. You did your worst by mobbing me the first time, by bullying me the first time. I survived. Guess what? My locals community actually grew from it. You might have impacted my YouTube channel. Like, congratulations to you. You took out one of the people that was actually fighting back against this. My locals community actually grew from it. So, you know. So I wanted to lay this out to really show you guys this is part of a bigger picture. And, you know, if you want to keep fighting people that are saying that we probably shouldn't be focusing on how critical race theory is anti-white because it makes us all look like a bunch of racists. It undermines the people who are actually fighting back. It plays right into the left's hands. You're doing exactly what they want you to do when you're doing that. Every time, I guarantee you, every time a high-profile conservative comes out and says, critical race theory is anti-white, what's going to happen is someone on the left is going to say, see? They're the reason that we need more anti-racist training. They're the reason that the government needs to mandate this be taught in schools. They're the reason that we should be mandating that all federal contractors have to do this training. Those people right there, those evil people who they're already painting as evil anyway, you're just giving them more and more reasons and more power. We've got to start being smarter about this. I cannot tell you how depressing it is to me that it feels as though I can't have a reasonable conversation with people about this. That it feels as though that there are so few people grasping that there's a bigger picture to this because people are so focused in on outrage and they're more intent on being outraged than they are in actually identifying and fixing the problem. Everything that is going on with the woke in this country is about a fundamental attack on our system. The race card is just one of many tools that they are using to attack the system. We could talk about the Green New Deal. That is all part of the same thing. We could talk about the COVID lockdowns. That is all part of the same thing. We could talk about what they're doing by demonizing the unvaccinated, by othering the unvaccinated. It is all the same thing. We can talk about what they're doing in relation to trying to eliminate gender. It's all the same thing. Every single problem every single one of these problems is connected in some way to their larger goal of destabilizing the system. People have got to start wrapping their heads around this idea. Critical race theory, the woke, it's not about race. It is not about justice. It is not about fairness. It is only about gaining more power and destabilizing the system, and that is it. That is it. And once you start identifying that everything that they are doing is about destabilizing the system, that's when the ballgame starts to change. That's when you stop accepting their rules. That's when you stop playing by their rules. If the devil came up from hell right now and said, we're going to play a game. We're going to play a game. It's my team versus your team. And I'm the person that gets to write every single rule. And I can change any single rule at the drop of a hat if I want to. Now you want to play, and if I win, you have to come to hell with me. But if you win, then you get to go to heaven. But you have to play by my rules. And I can change those rules whenever I want. Would you take that bet? I wouldn't take that bet. You're under no obligation to play on the playing field that they are giving you. So why are we continuing to give into it? This whole idea of critical race theory is anti-white. It's playing on their playground. It's playing on their field. It's playing by their rules. Why? Why would you be so dumb as to give into it? And yeah, I'm going to say it. It's dumb. It's dumb. You are ceding the most important part of the debate. You're ceding the dang definitions. You're giving them what they want. Every single time you do this, every single time. That's why I love when I see stuff by, like, this was tweeted out by Peter Boghossian, James Lindsay worked on it, a few other people worked on it. And basically, and I'll link to this in the description below. You can download the full file for yourself. This is a cheat sheet that they make for policymakers, providing a new set of definitions, saying when they say social justice, what they mean is group entitlements. When they say critical race theory, what they mean is the belief of people of European descent make society racist for their own benefit. When they say diversity, what they mean is an identity-based approach to society, including only those who agree with social justice. They're changing the definitions. When Peter Boghossian and James Lindsay and what is the other guy's name? I'm sorry, I forget the other guy's name. Bruce Gilley. When Bruce and Peter and James put this together, they said, we're not playing by your definitions anymore. We're making our own definitions. We're making sure people understand what this means. Do you see anti-white in their definition of critical race theory? What it means, the belief of that people of European descent make society racist for their own benefit, which is the view that racism is baked into is baked into the system and is unescapable. The view that racism is present even if no one is racist. The view that all disparities in group outcomes are due to racist systems. Do you see anti-white in any of that? No. Their definition of critical race theory is all about the system. What did I just say? Critical race theory isn't about race. It's about destabilizing the system. It's about destabilizing this bit right here, capitalism. What happens when capitalism is destabilized? Well, these people aren't anarchists. They like to think that they're anarchists. Of course, some people look at Antifa and they think, oh, those are obviously anarchists. They're not anarchists. They're authoritarians. If individuals are not controlling the means of production, if individuals empowering themselves to work hard, to build a business, to get ahead, if that is the center of all the evil in society, the only logical counter to that is that the state owns the means of production. These people are not anarchists, they are authoritarians. We've got to start being smarter about this. We have to. Because they're winning right now, and they're winning big, and they're winning because people are more interested in screeching critical race theory is anti-white than they are in actually understanding the problem and fighting back. And anyone that goes against that narrative, and that's to include people that are a lot bigger and doing a lot more than I am, are attacked for it. Again, I wasn't the only one that was attacked over this. James Lindsay was attacked over it. Chris Rufo was attacked over it. Anyone that spoke up supporting us was attacked over it. And it makes me really sad. It makes me really, really sad. Because to me right now, unless things change, to me, it almost feels like an impossible problem to tackle. Because at least, and maybe I'm taking it too personally, and I'm willing to offer that might be the case. But to have your legs cut out from under you because you made a completely correct argument, and to be attacked by the people who you know, I'm not worried about the actual white supremacists because there were actual white supremacists, but to have people lying about me all over the internet, to have people going after people who are doing really good work in this area, it made me question about whether or not we even have a chance. It made me question whether or not there are actually people that understand this. It made me question whether or not people on especially on the political right, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, it made me question whether or not people on the right are actually interested in solving this problem, or if they're just interested in using it as something to run on to win elections. I didn't get into this to win elections for a political party. That wasn't my jam. I actually wanted to defeat it. I would be perfectly happy if critical race theory and the woke ideology was defeated tomorrow and I could go back to having a normal life. But that's not where we're at right now, and we're not going to get any closer to it until people wrap their heads around the idea that this is not about race. This is only about destabilizing the system. That's it. That's what it's about. So I'm going to stay true to my values, and I'm going to stay true to what I know is true and what I know is right. And if they want to come and attack my channel, then fine. Fine. They've already kind of effed it anyway. So what's a little bit more? And I will still continue to do the work I'm doing in my locals. I just finished a book on the topic, so that'll be coming out in like a few short months. I'll be putting more information out there about that soon. But I really hope, guys, listen, if you understand what I'm saying, can you just please, for the love of God, leave a comment or something and let me know you understand what I'm saying so that I feel like I'm not talking into a void of people, so that I can feel that there are actually people that understand this, because all I've really, I shouldn't say all, the majority of what I've seen for the past month and a half has been people who are willfully ignoring the bigger picture here. And that's making this whole thing seem rather useless. So if you understand what I'm saying, please leave a comment and let me know so that I know that I'm just not grossly wasting my time. That's all I've got. I'll see you soon.